Hi, I'm Rick Dior, and today's lesson will be on accents, different kinds of accents. I was in a lesson recently with a student. It was a Skype lesson. He lives in Bologna, Italy. His name is Mike Harding, so shout out to you, Mike. And he gave me some ideas to do this video. We were working on a difficult passage in a Charles Wilcoxon solo called Heeding the Rudiments. The second page of that has lots and lots of accents. And he was asking me how I was doing these accents, so I played it for him. And he said, well, you're doing these accents a little bit differently, all of them. And then I said, well, yeah, I am. That's always the way I do it. And so we talked for a while, and I came up with an idea just to share with you guys that I do accents differently. I have 4 types of accents that I use, and I wanted to share those with you. This might make your playing a little easier. So we'll go over these today. This video will be a little bit on the short side, but hopefully it'll help you out. So the first accent I like to use is a wrist accent, and that's just using your whole wrist like this. So a good example of a rudiment that might use that would be an inverted flam tap. Because it's a difficult rudiment sticking wise, and you need to use those wrists to bring out those accents. The next kind of accent I use quite often is a whip accent, and that uses the Muller technique, and that looks like this with paradiddles. Double paradiddles. So you see that whipping motion. That creates velocity. It's very easy to do accents that way. The next kind of accent I use is a bounce accent, which basically is just letting the stick bounce, but you're using the weight of the stick to create an accent. Now this occurs on the first beat of an accent, always. And there's 2 strokes in a row, so like this. A good example would be like a flam mill. Where the weight of the stick is creating that accent, just bouncing. The last type is a clinch accent, and that's where I'm clinching my fingers together. So a good demo for this would be maybe flamacuse. So you can see how I'm clinching that. So those are the 4 types of accents that I use. To play quickly, you need to be able to manipulate all these accents and move between them smoothly. So there's several exercises that I use to develop these. So let's look at some of these. If you have the 3 Camps book, and I'll post this on the screen, page 37, you see a paradiddle exercise, number 3. This is an exercise I use all the time for warming up and just practicing my accents, really. So if we put this on 100, I'll play the first one for you, and I'll call out what type of accents they are. Ready? Go. This is a whip accent. Next, a wrist accent. Next, bounce. Fingers. So a clinch. So those are the 4 kinds of accents we use, and they all happen in this exercise. So if we play that a little faster, that was chord note equals 100. Let's say we go really fast. See if I can do this. 140. So now you'll really see this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's whip, wrist, bounce, clinch. That last clinch that fast does use a little more wrist. Again, they can be used in combinations, but it's emphasizing the clinch. So that's a really good exercise. Another one is number 2 from that page, page 37. So this one mainly uses wrist, but as you get faster, you start using a clinch. So slower, let's say we do it 140. We'll put this on eighth notes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's pretty heavy on the wrist, but a little bit of clinch. Now, if we go faster, let's say we go 170. 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you go faster, you're using a little more clinch because it's too fast for the wrist to do that. So as you get faster, you move to a different kind of accent. So that's a good one to practice as well. Now, another one we might want to do is on page 39. And this one is from a classical piece called Scheherazade by Rimsky-Korsakov. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so hopefully you see the difference in the accents there. Now let's go a little faster, not too much faster. And now we're going to use more fingers, more clinch. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so there's so much fingers there, and the clinch is nearby. I don't have time to use my whole wrist, so that's when you use a clinch accent. All right. Now, next, page 42, number 30, you'll see this kind of mixed singles exercise. This one's a little tricky. We'll play it slow first. So if you look at these accents, these are almost all going to be done with the wrist, slowly. So So again, we want those singles to be clean, and we're using a lot of wrist there. So a wrist accent is appropriate. But as we go faster, let's say we'll go pretty fast, 116. See if I can do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you see there how I'm using clinches and almost a whip stroke on the. So whenever you have those fast singles, that's when you want to use your whip accent, like, again, the Muller technique. If you go to page 48, you'll see some rhythms there. And what I like to do is different rudiments under these rhythms. So in other words, the rhythms become the accents. Now you can go through the whole first 2 pages of stick control using this idea, this concept. So we're playing the accents. If we just do 16ths, and I'll play the first line of accents for you. We'll put this on 16th. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's stick control. That's George Lawrence Stone's stick control, exercise number 1, singles. So if we went fast with this, instead of using wrists like I was, now we have to do more of a relaxed, almost clinch kind of accent where I'm going. Because once again, it's too fast to do all wrist. It just is. You'll get tired. It'll sound choppy. So let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so you see there how I'm going a lot faster, and I'm using combination of a bounce and a clinch accent, not all wrists. If I try to do that with wrists, it'll look like this. So it'll be too tight. So the faster you go, the more of a relaxed accent you use, either a whip accent, a bounce accent, or a little bit of a clinch accent. Now, the final way I like to do these is if we do different sticking combinations from stick control. A paradiddle is a great example. So if I just do paradiddles all the way through and I play these as accents, that's a terrific exercise. And that will end up using all of your accents, all 4 of them. You can see that. I'll attempt this now. I'll just do a little bit of it. This is quarter note equals 120. I'll start out by playing paradiddles. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you get the idea there. That's very difficult. So you just play paradiddles. So any of those stick control exercises from the first 2 pages work great. And each one might take you, a month to learn. But by the time you do those, you can do anything. Finally, let's go to the thing that gave my students so much trouble. Sorry, Mike, if you're watching this. So we'll go to Heating the Rudiments, which is one of the great Wilcoxon solos. And since I'm only using part of this, I think I can post it on the screen. Hopefully I won't get sued. So this exercise or etude has lots and lots of accents all over the place, as is the norm for Wilcoxon. So if we played this a little slower at first, and then we'll speed it up, let's say 104, I'll show you how these accents work, and I'll call them out. So here's 104. And this is the top of the page, page 29. 1, 2, 1, 2, wrists. Bounce. Whip. Bounce. Bounce. Whip. Wrist. That was harder to say that than I thought when I was playing it. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you. You see I'm playing different kinds of accents as I'm playing this, and that enables me to play it. Again, if I had just used all wrist accents, I could not play it. And especially at this speed, I'm going to play it now. So this is the normal speed I play this, around 116. So I'll play that second page for you again at this tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that's very fast. There's a lot of stuff happening there. And again, if you learn all these types of accents, you'll be able to do that. Now, when you play the drum set, you're using all these kinds of accents as well. Maybe you don't even know, but when you're playing a backbeat, okay, most people are either going to do a wrist just straight like that, or a little whip stroke, which is what I like to do. So like that. That takes the impact away from just the wrist. So those are the ways that's the way I do my backbeats, like that. All right, but we always use different kinds of accents, even if we don't know it. But you have to make a conscious effort to learn all 4 types by playing these kinds of exercises. And eventually they work their way into your playing almost unconsciously. And then you'll see a video or someone else will see you play and they'll say, what are you doing there? And then you have to think about what you're doing. So I hope you got something out of this, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.